Okay. Alright. Here is another attempt at my first official. Welcome to Pool of Radiance and Curse of the Azure Bonds 2-game speedrun. I'm going to be playing both games with a single party. I've completed this once before, attempted it one other time. The time I completed it was part of a thing that GOG.com was doing with their new Twitch channel. I presented it for them since I run on that. But I want more basically on my stream set up before, and a video just on that before making this official on speedrun.com, as it were. So, here we go. I'm all ready to go, so let's go ahead and begin. We begin in Pool of Radiance. Pool of Radiance is the very first video game that was ever made using official Dungeons & Dragons rules. There are a few games that were D&D licensed a bit before that, but this is the first one that isn't an action game just set in the D&D mythos kind of thing, but this is actually based on it. It's also set in the Forgotten Realms campaign setting, one of the most popular and well-known campaigns. This is using first edition AD&D rules, which are extremely difficult to deal with, but we make the most of it. Okay, this is actually cleric, so I need flail. First thing I have to do is get party's equipment bot. Background music is the actual music from the NES version of Pool of Radiance. It's a nice, fitting background music since the game itself has no sound. It would have sound, or at least a few very, very simple graphics. Yeah, just sound effects. Very, very simple sound effects. A few minor ones, but I have turned them off because they slow the game down greatly. Actually, this is such an old game that even sound causes a huge amount of lag, so it's not worth worrying about. So we don't. I could do this right. Lost a gold there. Didn't get all my arrows for him. We'll get a few extra then, since I'm getting them anyway. You have a limited number of space you can use, of course, so we can't afford plate mail, the best armor in the game, but we can wear bandit mail. So our party consists of 3 human fighters, male, 1 human cleric, and 2 half-elf fighter mages. Battle right off the bat. Ooh, we surprised them. That's good. And of course, that always happens. I have red is going to look exactly like purple through the first portion of this. Anybody get hurt? No. Good. Excellent. I need to get 15 random encounters. Wow, already. And we are surprised by the kobolds. That's not good, but oh well. We're tear through them. It's going to make things slightly confusing. This is kind of a weird bug in the game. Whenever I do things to adjust the party, after when I load up a previous party and then make adjustments to it before starting a speedrun, the brand new character I make always replaces the sprite of Red as well, for whatever reason. So right now, Red looks an exact copy of Violet, my human female cleric. So we have 3 human fighters, because fighters are the most powerful characters in the early game. Wow, 3 encounters before reaching the first place. This is very rare. And they're going to be doing most of the good solid damage. I have 2 fighter magic users so that I can equip a lot of sleep spells, which will make a lot of battles much better. In this particular game, there's enough experience gained that now first edition does very special things with changing your classes. In later D&D, they let you just level up in whatever classes you like, so you can mix around and stuff. There are some limits, but for the most part, it's a pretty it's pretty versatile in allowing you to decide what you're going to be doing. But in later, in the early first edition, humans could only change once they changed. When humans changed classes, they were stuck in the new class, and it overwrote their abilities of their previous class. And until they leveled up enough to that they were higher level in their new class than in their old. Then the other option was to have non-human races, half-elves, elves, dwarves, etc. They could level up 2 classes at the same time, but they were greatly restricted in the classes that they could do, and also it halves their speed at which they get those they earn experience at half the rate. So it kind of limits them on their potential for have us that you go up. It takes them a lot longer to go, but the good news is that they have all the advantages and disadvantages, or all the advantages and none of the disadvantages of both classes. So fighter magic users can wield any weapons, use any armor, and still cast spells, which is really handy. Especially in early levels, so even though I have less hit points than a fighter would have, I have the ability to cast spells like a mage, and I'm running around in armor, so we are far more powerful at this point in the game. The biggest problem with it is that they're restricted in their maximum level that they can reach. But that is fortunately not much of a problem in this version of the game, because we have a maximum level limit we can reach anyway. And we'll get plenty of experience to level up to the point where we'll be useful. Even in Curse of the Azure Bonds, I'll get a lot closer to the maximum limit, but I won't quite reach it. That was a bit troublesome. Oh well, maybe I'll only do one this time then. The most powerful thing about mages at first level is that they can cast, they only get 1 spell, unlike later editions of D&D where you can do multiple spells. If you have high enough stats in your area, they just get 1. But they do have access to the most powerful spell of Sleep, which is ridiculous. It has no saving throw attached to it. I'm not getting any goblins, which is kind of bad. Golly, just kobolds. Yeah. but it puts a certain number of hit dice to sleep. Similar to spells like Magic Missile or Fireball, you effectively roll damage with it, but that is the number of hit points that it puts to sleep. And it's an absurd amount of hit points, like somewhere around 20 or so. And so a bunch of monsters, like little goblins and kobolds, I can put an entire stack of 9 to sleep in a 3x3 square, basically, centered around wherever I place the cursor. I have to be careful not to target my characters, because it will put them to sleep. There's no friendly fire in protection in this game. So where you place fireballs, where you place sleep spells, those are a major thing to worry about. Requires a lot of tactical combat choices. So with that, but that one spell, the really, really horrible thing about this for the monsters is that there's no saving throw against it, and if you're sleeping, you're helpless. Any enemies that are helpless, for whatever reason, are unable to defend themselves and will get one shot by any attack that comes against them. Now we finally have goblins, and they're being really bad to us. So that allows these battles to go very, very, very quickly. I need to fight 15 battles for the start of this because in order to clear out the slums, to complete the quest for clearing out the slums, I have to defeat 15 random encounters. It's going to be pretty much the only time in this game that I'm going to worry about random encounters, and the only time that I want them. Excellent. There's no fast healing in Pool of Radiance, so the only way to heal up is to rest for days on end or to constantly recast your healing spells manually. So, once again, surprised by goblins. One of the things that the game allows you to do is to actually edit your stats, which is very important in first edition D&D, meaning that since D&D traditionally, the main way stats are determined are by rolling randomly, they actually want you to... they have a computerized program that rolls those stats for you, but you can actually modify them up to the maximum of 18, since you use 3d6 to roll those. They're automatically at a minimum based on what the class requires, and first edition D&D had some really strange requirements for what the classes needed, especially advanced ones. Like fighters needed only a 9 strength, and rogues a 9, or thieves rather, a 9 dexterity, for instance, but paladins needed like a 13 wisdom, and a 17 charisma, and a 10 constitution, and some of their ridiculous stuff. So your characters will have those minimum, but... otherwise, it's rolled randomly, but you can edit them all up to 18, which is very important in first edition because you don't get any benefit from stats until they reach 16 or higher, and the difference between a 16 and an 18 is absolutely huge. In later editions, they balance it more, so even getting a 12 is superior to a 10, and then just a little bit every successive one is, you know, slightly better. It's usually every 2 points gives you an additional bonus to whatever that stat affects. A pretty reasonable balanced thing, but first edition, I don't know what they were thinking with a lot of the stuff they did. You need 17s and 18s in most of your stats to be really a worthy adventurer. And considering this is a computer game all about the numbers and the stats, excellent job, Cleric, running that direction to get the enemy. AI is sometimes really interesting here. And surrenders, good. Can't hit worth a dime either. Apparently that actually does make it more difficult, so they give you more enemies and stuff. The game is kind of balanced around difficulty. As you get higher level, you'll fight more enemies here in the slums, which is one of the reasons why I want to... That was unfortunate that I didn't cancel quick combat a little quicker. I'll probably only get one spell off again this time. Whatever. So clearing out these 15 encounters is the first thing I want to do. Then I'll have to take out all of the set pieces here in the slums, and then the slums will be considered completed, and I can move on to the next quest. The storyline takes place in the Forgotten Realms universe, on the continent of Faerun, which is the primary continent that everything takes place on. So the same continent as Baldur's Gate, for instance, but far to the east in the Dale Lands, in the middle of the continent. A fairly well-known area to those who've played D&D in the Forgotten Realms situation or have read a lot of the books. We're in the city of Flan on the north of the Moon Sea. Flan was once a prosperous city centuries ago, but then it was conquered by monsters, then it was reconquered by humans, and then it was conquered by monsters again, and has been held by them for a couple hundred years. So, now finally, civilized races, humans, elves, half-elves, the rest, are trying to take the city back, and so they're hiring adventurers to help go into the areas and defeat the monsters for them. Good old Forgotten Realms. Yep. So our first quest is what you would expect of first-level characters. At least we're not dealing with rats, you know, the classic level 1 character shenanigans. We are actually battling orcs, goblins, and kobolds in the slums. Just try to take out these weakest level monsters, and then there'll be a few more interesting quests that we'll be doing down the line. That might be 15. I think I'm really close to 15 now. Still got at least one more. Okay. Now with pretty much nearly all the enemies slept, this is once again a one battle. So, still don't have a bow for red, though, but oh well. In a way, that's very true. It's not like Dragonlance, which has a few interesting twists on the D&D realm. It is a pretty classic setting, which is generally fine for me. I really like the classic stuff a lot more. There have been some really epic storylines in Forgotten Realms anyway, because it is the most popular, even with its genericness. And I believe that we are good now. Cast a Bless spell to give our party a slight buff before we go into this room to battle these orcs. There are a lot of orcs in here, but luckily they can't get at us too easily. That's actually not too crazy of an idea, since Final Fantasy was very much a lot more than other things inspired by D&D. Interestingly, a lot of the pretty much all of the very first role-playing games, computer role-playing games, video game role-playing games, were based on D&D, Ultima and Might and Magic and Wizardry and such things. But on the other hand, Dragon Quest, which was the first big Japanese game, was based specifically on Ultima. And then, of course, it inspired a lot of things down the line. But when Squaresoft decided to do Final Fantasy, they based it more on the original D&D setting rather than the Dragon Quest setting as much that Enix had established. And now, of course, they're all run by the same company. So, ooh. Not good healing there. Blast, True Light Wounds, Detect Magic. So I have a cleric for just a couple of uses. Especially a straight cleric is not of too much use in this game since they have no range. They're not as good as a fighter, but all they can do for combat is charge in. But they are relatively durable, and they have a few very important spells, including just simply right there, the ability to detect magic, so I can easily sort out what's magic and what isn't. Yep, as well as having a few revival spells. Clerics do get bonus... magic users do not get bonus spells based on their intelligence, but in first edition. But clerics do get bonus spells based on their wisdom. Unfortunately, they don't have a lot of really useful, impactful spells. They have some useful spells like Bless and Detect Magic and, of course, Cure Light Wounds. But Cure Light Wounds does a straight 1 to 8 points of healing, and that's the only healing spell they have. So it's somewhat difficult to use. They don't have any combat efficiency to easily make the enemy die. You know, healing classes and speedruns in general are not all that useful, and that's kind of the case here, especially. But there are a couple of uses for my cleric in Curse of the Azure Bonds, especially, since I'm continuing this party into that game. Oh, so easy. And we get a third magic shortbow. Magic ring, which is useful for kind of anybody. Rings of protection do not stack with magic armor, but they do stack with normal armor, which is kind of a weird thing in the game. That's all. Here's a long, annoying fight against a hallway full of orcs, with a couple of archers in the back to make things just a little bit more annoying. The only good news, of course, is that I can put a bunch of them to sleep. It does slightly. If I'm just playing Pool of Radiance, my cleric is replaced by a fighter cleric, which is generally more useful because they hit better. They can use swords as well as any of the armor, and the fact that I'm getting less experience doesn't matter much. In fact, it's almost beneficial because a cleric levels so fast that they lose experience based on my route, and it isn't worth the time to run into town just to get my cleric a few more experience and not lose that weird little thing. But I need a human cleric because they max out at 6th level. That's not nearly high enough in Curse of the Azure Bonds, especially since that's just short of being able to use the next healing spell of Cure Serious Wounds, which makes healing go a lot faster. So having a human cleric it slows down Pool of Radiance slightly, but it speeds up Curse of the Azure Bonds quite a bit more than that. In addition, I need a female character to avoid a bunch of fights in Curse of the Azure Bonds, and female non-humans are useless. The game is both sexist and racist. Humans have a maximum higher strength than any class, than any other race, and females males also have a higher maximum strength than females. Female clerics, mages, and straight rogues, non-fighters, can reach the maximum of 18 regardless, but non-humans cannot. Half-elves max out at 17 as females, elves at 16, dwarves at 17. It's just a really weird thing that they did to try and make up for the fact that humans have so few advantages compared to non-human races. They did the weirdest things to try and balance it out. No treasure here, really. That was a really good fight. Doesn't usually go that well. Oh, wow, I got the ogre. That's awesome. That's very unusual to get both a gnoll and an ogre. And now they're all asleep, and it's easy kills. That's a pretty good way of doing it, I think. That actually sounds pretty reasonable. Okay. Okay, let's... yeah, those 5. At first, I considered that I might need at least one human wizard for Curse of the Azure Bonds, at least. Well, when I first started doing the run, I've changed the routing quite a lot since I started. I started with all humans, and then I figured out that human mage wasn't really necessary. I wanted to get a fireball spell as fast as possible for one battle, but I found alternate sources for it. So I don't need to speed rush a pathetic mage, straight mage to level 5. And then when I started doing Curse of the Azure Bonds, I still thought I needed a human mage for best routing. But as it turns out, considering the amount of overpowered items I have in Curse of the Azure Bonds, a single mage is not that big of a deal compared to the fighters who can whack things, especially in the non-magic enabled areas of the game. Okay, now everybody has bows and arrows. You need to get more arrows, though. And these arrows should do me for the rest of this game, at least. Wow, we took some damage there, though. Okay, magic shield for red, magic user scroll for white. Good as anybody. Okay, and that's most of the encounters here that I need to worry about. I'm slightly lost, but oh, now I'm not lost. I know where I am now. Probably didn't need to do it, actually. Yes. Sell bracers. Full share. Okay, we have enough to level up for now, which is all we need. We'll consider that Slums Part 1. I'm kind of not sure where my split is anymore. I've played around with a few things. Okay, Cleric is Violet. She can train. Let's see. They can't train at all, which is slightly unfortunate. No, we don't want a duel. We do want an adventuring companion. We don't want warrior. Poker, no. Hero. Yes, we want a hero to join our party. And they can't train yet. So, okay. Now we're level 2 there. So they don't need to worry about anything. She will need to train. She'll only get 1 spell, though, so I don't need to rest at all. So I can go on to Sokal Keep. Alter order. You're going to go in the middle, hero. That is, I believe, the position I want you in, if I remember correctly. Hope I do. Okay, now our next quest is to clear out Sokal Keep, which is on an island in the bay of the city, and it's got a specter that's been haunting it. So now they want somebody to go and deal with the specter because they can't get any ships out. Chestney. Give this password to the undead and they will leave you alone. I forgot to memorize Bless with her, though. That's unfortunate. Oh well. So, big fight here. Oh, blast. I forgot one important thing, and that was to have my de-equip the bow on my fighter. Oh well. Yeah, it is a bit unfortunate that it doesn't have any real sound, but having no background music is kind of a thing. If it had background music, I'd take the 15-minute loss from the sound, but the little blips and bleeps of the sound effects in this game are not really worth the extra time save. Curse of the Azure Bonds is different, though, because the sound it's better equipped for its sound or whatever, I guess, so it works out. I don't have to turn the sound off there, but it still doesn't have any music besides the intro music to it, so it's a bit of a whatever. Well, the warrior's getting swarmed anyway, so that isn't particularly bad. He's going to be mostly doing melee. Hopefully he'll take a lot of damage for me. Let's see. Are there enough here? Now we're just going to quick combat them down. So over the course of playing the game, we're supposed to find out about a the leader of these monsters, whose name is Tyranthraxus, and he sent his minions here to Sokal Keep to battle us. We're a little bit out of sequence here. You're supposed to go in the slums first and clear it out, but this encounter is set to go off whether you've cleared the slums or not. But because you proved yourself a threat, wiping out all of his guys in the slums, he sent his troops here to ambush you and prevent you from dealing with Sokal Keep. Yeah, games, music is an important part of games nowadays, but Strategic Simulations Incorporated, SSI, the company that made this game and the others in the Gold Box series, quite a lot of other role-playing and strategy war games, they did not think that music was a very important part of it. It took too much memory and stuff. But interestingly, when they ported it to Nintendo, Nintendo was like, we have to have music, and so they made this soundtrack that we're listening to that I've got playing in the background. So maybe I'll turn that up a little bit. It's probably a bit too quiet. Once we meet with the Spectre, he's, of course, remembers the old days of the city and is harassing the monsters, but when he finds out that humans are trying to take it back again, he promises to leave it alone, and so we'll have solved the problem with Sokal Keep. You can also attack the Spirit, which is not recommended because he's very powerful and immune to most of our weapons. Yeah, I said it a little bit too quiet. turn it up a little bit more. There we go. I guess it's because of the split difference, but... This fight is not going particularly as well as my last one did, I believe. Come on, hero, you need to start pulling your weight there. If these guys can gather up a little bit more, a sleep spell will help out a lot. Okay, good enough. Only 5 of them. That's pretty pathetic. What I'm comparing to. Oh, I've got my splits comparing wrong. That's why everything looks, it's on sum of best. There we go. Okay. Now it doesn't look quite so amazing. The sum of best is a little bit off because I've swapped around the routing, but the old times are, which is why my best is only 5.5 minutes. Must have accidentally hit the key that swapped that around. I do that on occasion. Sometimes I also skip things or whatever. Just troublesome. Alright, we've just about hacked our way through most of the horde here. This timing is no longer quite so horrible. Okay, especially since we've started the surrender. And now we're betraying the hero. So we get experience for him as well as his loot. We can more greatly use the plate mail +1 and two-handed sword +1. Okay, now we're going to go talk to the Spectre. By telling him this password of Lux, he knows that we're good guys. You find this and have to translate it with your code wheel in the very beginning of the entrance to the keep, but if we just know it... Oh, I forgot to... Oh, well, that actually went pretty fast. Maybe I'll just have to remember that now. And now we get a little bit more treasure, including a magic vase for her, magic longsword, and another shield. Okay, let's see. Oh yeah. So you can drop the flail and the banded mail for the higher speed of the chainmail is very important for you. Okay, and with that, now it's time to return home. Now we have to give a new password to the undead, though. Luckily, the ghost told us what it was, so... Lots of undead encounters. Luckily, I don't have to fight them, but... Now we board the boat back. Yes. This isn't what I intended, but it's good enough. View items. Let's identify the longsword. Sell the two-handed sword. Drop the shield. Drop that shield. Any other magic I can get rid of? No. Pool share. Do we have enough? Yes, for what we need. Boom. There's our reward. Okay, now to train again. She, of course, can train. No, yes. Acolyte, no. Warrior, no. Swordsman, no. Curate, no. Hero, yes. Identical hero to the last one. Must be his twin brother. We certainly won't betray him the way we betrayed the first one. They're lawful evil, though, and we're lawful good, so it's okay for us to betray them. Oh, I do need to get that so I can train... Do need to get a bit more money so I can train my mages. There, that's fine. Cool share. Oh, I hope I didn't share it with the hero. I didn't. Good. Didn't even think of that. Now I can learn Magic Missile. Learn Magic Missile. Now I can use those on the trolls that we're fighting because the trolls that are coming up are not vulnerable to sleep spells. Yeah, the cool collectibles were indeed something. Okay, need to come in here to rest, because there's nowhere to rest back there as well. Okay, so Bless and Cure Light Wounds. Now I get Hold Person spells, which is really awesome. Actually, one sleep spell. Seal up. Nope, that's actually the wrong way. Need to go this way. There we go. Okay, into the Rope Guild. First, we have to go elect an item for Olo. I was very surprised when I found out that this quest is actually required for completing the slums. I actually skipped it once during a run to, and then they told me the slums weren't complete yet. And I came back and finished it, and they said, "Okay, you're done." I used to do it just for the little bit of experience, then I thought I didn't need the experience that much, but since it is required... Oh, he's getting lost here. Okay, here we go. Violet, cast Bless. Say B because dangerous. Start fight. Okay, Violet can't do anything much yet. We are going to Magic Missile this thing. I forgot to take the stupid arrows off of the stupid warrior again, so all he's going to do is shoot. That is bad. That's the most important thing to remember, and I keep forgetting it. Hmm. Okay. Well, you will be able to get around that guy eventually once he... Though, to be totally fair, everyone we've killed is evil, which, according to several other D&D games I've played, mercilessly slaughtering evil creatures is a lawful good action. So... Okay, now... Hero falls asleep. Attack ally. Do not continue battle. Okay, now blue gets +1 plate mail. Oh no, that's his normal longbow. Bilgwee's arm. Okay, and 2 magic user scrolls. If I'm lucky, those are awesome. I don't need that longbow though. Drop it. Yes. Okay. Now, I'm gonna need sleep spells for the next section. Maybe 1 magic missile. Yeah, the only thing stupider than D&D morality is people arguing over it, which unfortunately I have done many times myself. Goodness, how many hit points did blue have? A lot. Took a lot of damage. Okay. Alright, now we take our item back to Olo, and we have triumphantly cleared out the slums. So we didn't slaughter everybody mercilessly. We spared Olo, who is the one guy who would talk to us, as well as a fortune teller who you don't have to talk to, but she will also, she is also not necessary to kill. Another magic user scroll. We're going to see if we're lucky now. If I got Fireball, this saves a lot of time. We'll talk to this guy, and we are not going to do his job just to get certain things out of the way. Okay, pool, view items. View items. ID all my scrolls. One spell. We will see. Ah, I need to find out if that's any good. Just +1, no. Okay, I have enough to level again. Which, 2, 4, 8... Yes, they all can. And they can level up fighters. So, okay, I have enough money for now. Good. Now I'm all done taking heroes to the slaughter. In old 1st edition D&D, classes had titles associated with them based on their level. So that's where this title of hero comes from. Swordsman is 3rd level, hero is 4th. That's basically all that is. Very useful to know. Okay, so I need to find out if that is anything good. So we're going to encamp, magic scribe, stinking cloud, shield, knock, shocking grasp. Nope, nothing good. The stinking clouds are okay, but not really major time savers. Okay, now we're going to see if my luck is good. Yep. Again. Cannot move correctly to save their lives. Yeah, that's the biggest problem is that, especially, you know, over the past, 50 years or so of fiction especially, and fiction and philosophy, people have been very much debating merits of good versus evil. And so, since good is open to interpretation, it's really hard to claim that I had to trade those to somebody with less stuff. No, we just quit combating, of course. So now this is Kuto's Well. This is a weird quest that is not actually offered. You don't have to be offered any of the quests in order to be able to complete them. Basically, they're just letting you know the things that you can do. But Kuto's Well, you can come down, and it unfortunately is not a super great quest. It doesn't, unlike the quest of the slums, it doesn't make this area entirely safe. But it does, it does reward a good amount of experience and makes it a little bit safer. Also gives me a resting point, but it's one that I will never use. Oh, call a perfect 3-person hold. And this battle is over. Okay, he does have a longsword +1, which is worth taking, because longswords are better than broadswords. Pick up some free loot and money here. Loot and money. Money and experience, basically, since all of your experience is based off of treasures. Let's see, do a magic missile next. Same with you, magic missile. That'll be slightly more useful in Kuto's Well. Bless. And cure light wounds. Old person. A few more days. I've been taking a lot of damage recently. Okay. Luckily, I surprised them, so I get to flee, though it says the monsters flee. By the force of my personality, since I've surprised them, I forced them to run away. That's Kuto as well. Okay, no level ups at this point. Nope, our 2 mages can level up to level 3. So we need to get some money for that. Which actually is going to come from... Yeah, I'm going to sell all those scrolls. They're not that useful to me since they're... Sell the bracers. This should be all the money I need for the rest of the game, really. Oops. I haven't identified anything yet. Okay, so I need to identify something to... Oh. There. Change out my money. Okay, good. And yeah, that is just about enough money for the rest of the game. Since I'm carrying on, it actually won't be, but it'll be close. Stinking Cloud. Stinking Cloud. Okay, let's see. Yarash's Pyramid is next, so that's actually here, but I want to rest. Luckily, clearing out the slums means I never have to pay for a hotel again. Okay, we need to go to the west. Red will pay, doesn't really matter. We board a boat. We're gonna stay. Save the game, because we don't want random encounters. We surprise a group of Sturges, which lets us run away. We surprise a group of kobolds, which lets us run away. We get to enter the pyramid now. And now it's Pyramid Maze. Which is really easy when you know what you're doing. I'm going to save it right here, just in case. Throw, move on. Throw, move on. Throw, move on. Now we've reached Yarash's room. First we have to answer the copyright protection to avoid the copyright protection boss. Go into the realm where Yarash has got all this stuff that's destroying the river, polluting it. We're just going to ignore it. And now the mage Yarash, who is a bit of a pain. Potentially. He can also potentially be super easy if I get him with a spell immediately. Yarash is held, battle is won, basically. Chokes and gags from nausea. Perfect. Okay, Violet, you take the bracers. White, you take the wand, not that I need it. You take the potions. Yes. Okay, we changed the setting to copper so we can start raiding his vaults. And this is going to be random loot. Depending on how good it is, we might be able to skip the next section of the game. A magic user scroll is a possibility. Change the setting to silver. Another clerical scroll. Sheesh. Aspedum and a Guizarm Vulge. One more chance to get something really super awesome. Nope. Composite longbow, which is kind of neat. A longsword, and a glaive Guizarm. So we'll see if, based on the experience I got, most likely they were not that great. We will see. This is a super valuable experience mission, but it isn't all that difficult. You just get one fight if you do it right. And even though we didn't destroy the equipment, the river is no longer polluted, so now we can cross the river. And, of course, the town is going to be super grateful that the river is no longer barren and poisoned. Take the boat to the civilized area. Make it daybreak. Let's go ahead and go in here first. Yeah. Don't need clerical scrolls either. Let's identify that mace, just for the heck of it. Chair. Okay, what is the ring? Magic user scroll. I know the one is those 2 spells. Ring of protection +2. It's not bad. Who else can use the ring of protection? Nobody, because everybody has magical armor now, except for him. Too bad. Let's see. Nothing else on you. Glaive Guizarm is just +1, which means it's trash. Composite longbow is +1, which is better than a normal longbow at least. Longsword is +1, which is good. Longsword is just +1. Glaive Guizarm is +2 though, so that's kind of nice. Let's go ahead and trade that to green since he doesn't have a magic shield. Let him charge in and do a lot of heavy damage. He'll probably favor that over his short bow now. Okay. We'll accept it for the experience, but we're not taking anything, nor are we actually going to do it. We get experience for getting given treasures to take out the graveyard. Graveyard is by far the worst area in the game, with all the super powerful undead that are everywhere. Okay, let's see how good this magic user scroll is. Blink and Strength. Nope, it's trash. So I have to go to my next mission, which is the oh, I got a lot of experience now. I can level up my guys, and I have plenty of money to level. I doubt I can train as mages, but it was worth a look. Yeah, they actually need 1,000 experience to do that. Fourth level fighters versus 5th level fighters. So again, fighter mages don't fall too far behind. But I'll really need them to be straight fighters in Curse of the Azure Bonds especially. Okay, first we go to the library. Oh, we were surprised by kobolds. Nope, not happening. A Guizarm Vulge is a type of polearm. I'm not super up-to-date on all the various types of polearms. AD&D First Edition really did have all the crazy... they had, like, every possible Oh, jeez. Just about every variant of a polearm that you could have that were well known in the Middle Ages from every civilization, essentially. So they had Guisarm and Guisarm Volge and Guisarm Glaive. Your Glaive was your basic one. I used to study that a lot more when I was a kid to figure out exactly what they were, but it's been many years. Okay, finally, we made it without any encounters. 10 steps. Sheesh. And down here. Let's see. A Volge is, I believe, a kind of more semi-spear-like polearm, but not quite a pike. Hobgoblins charge screaming. No. Guisarm is something from France, but that one I don't remember, but should all. Though it's one of the common ones that's combined with a lot of these other polearms. Okay, yeah, I'm actually not going there anymore. Okay, now these hobgoblins are... Oh, he just has 2 magic missiles. That's a bit unfortunate. Yeah, we'll just quit combat. These are just ordinary hobgoblins, and they're pretty weak. This is a set encounter whenever you come into this area. Coming from the south, I used to come from the north as part of a loop with another quest that I don't do anymore. But they still start in this square, so I had to go wind all the way around to, I had to charge them. Jeez, lots of encounters today. But now that I'm coming south for an entirely different quest through that area where it's a little bit... have to worry less about encounters. It's even more convenient in that fight because I just show up and I'm in melee with them and they go down quickly. I'm fighting a cleric here, which can be nasty because they can use hold person spells, which are very dangerous. We want to avoid that as much as possible. If I can hold her first, then this is, again, an easy one battle. Darn, did not affect her. And she's just started casting, I believe. Luckily, I can interrupt her with magic missiles. Goodness, she's resisting them all today. Okay. Let's try this. There we go. Yeah. Hold Person is a really nasty spell against humanoid creatures. The biggest drawback is that there are a lot of not humanoids that you have to deal with. Okay, one of these is good. I can never remember which, so I just take them both. I don't really need anything else here. I can't remember what the potion is. Let's find out. I need to identify those next as well. Necklace is cursed, unfortunately. I took no damage, which is nice. Yay, made it to the library, which is totally safe. At least in the areas where I'm adventuring. I love how the doors in the slums automatically lock themselves after you've passed through. Okay, view items. I know about that. What was I looking at? I want to identify these potions. Potion of healing. Not great, but I might be able to use it to avoid some things if I think about it. Potions of healing. Okay. Share. I don't think they have enough for anything. They're not quite enough to raise their levels yet either. Okay, so now my next destination is the Temple of Bane, now that I have that scroll. Durton is going to... now there's a temple that used to be dedicated to Tyr, which was since dedicated to Bane after the monsters took over the city. So now the people of Tyr want us to help them take the temple back so they can rededicate it and consecrate it and get rid of the filth and everything. So we agree to accompany them. The most important item of the game is found here in the temple. Let's see, Durton, cast one of your blessed spells. And now, hopefully we'll deal with these guys very quickly. Did I forget to sleep? I forgot to sleep. That is potentially bad. Not really bad. Now, if I got lucky, I got a leather holy symbol, but they never really tell you if that happened or not. I think they do, but the text speed makes it go way too fast, so I won't know until I enter this spot. And I didn't. So we have to fight these orcs, which is unfortunate. But we cleaned them out pretty quickly. Thank you, Durton, for the told person. Okay, cast Bless again. Cast Prayer. Thank you for not casting your prayer before. And save the game. And now we're fighting this huge, huge group, including another cleric who could possibly be casting Hold Person on my characters. So I want to try to avoid that. Yes, I held him, so battle is won. Oh, goody, and you get to go next too. So you get to use this scroll to cast Fireball. And this huge, huge horde of orcs. Absolutely enormous horde of orcs. Yes, let's go right there. Yeah, that'll get all but 4 of them. The farthest ones away. Yes, that is very true. Most of the time, for instance, abilities like Protection from Good, most of the time you're playing good characters fighting evil enemies, so Protection from Good doesn't do you a lot of use. And now at this point we can just auto the combat. These guys are, unfortunately it's going to go a little slower since I forgot to rememorize my bless spells, which would put huge swaths of the rest of the enemies to sleep for instant kills, but it's a whole lot quicker with more than half of them dead from a single blast. So it looks like I'm going to get really close to being ahead of time even after Temple of Bane, despite the fact that I did get a good drop when I did my first complete run of this. So that's pretty good to look forward to. Durton will leave us immediately after this fight. We don't have to betray him. He does not suffer the fate of lawful evil heroes. They don't really have any treasure worth looting in there. Here we have a couple of good items to grab, including, I guess, just the one scroll, which I don't even use anymore, so I don't know why I go there anymore. Open the trap door. This is the real prize, though. I get 3 more potions, a wand for white, why not, and the Dust of Disappearance, a super awesome weapon, or item, that we are going to be seeing in regular use through the rest of the game. Both games, in fact. Okay, let's memorize our Magic Missile and Stinking Cloud. Let's memorize our 2 Magic Missiles and our Stinking Cloud. Memorize our Bless, our 4 Hold Persons, and our Prayer and Dispel Magic that we get. Oh yeah, I had my own prayer, if I'd remembered to memorize it. Now that we've cleared out that one room and the temple, we will get no more encounters in this area, so that's rather convenient. You take the boat. Head back to the civilized area. Yes, because I'm accidentally here. Identify that. How the guy... Oh yes, the potions. Don't need a Spedum either. Don't need an additional longsword. Items. Trade the Potion of Speed to blue. Full share. Praise. Jewelry sell. Jewelry sell. Excellent. Okay, now that's definitely all the money we're going to need. In fact, you're probably overburdened with money, aren't you? A little bit. Okay. I'm at the boat. That's where I am. Okay. Now I can definitely train my mages. Doesn't even matter what they learn. Might be able to train my cleric. Nope, not yet. I don't think I can train any of my fighters, though, but let's go ahead and see. Nope, okay, so just the 2 mages up to level 4, which does mean that I'll get a couple more spells. Another magic missile and another stinking cloud. Alright, now it's time to go confront Tyranthraxus now that we have the most powerful item in the game. Oh, we got surprised by gnolls immediately. How grand. Yeah, actually having control ratings on equipment is slightly more interesting. It's one of the things about a fantasy medieval world, of course. It's incredibly dangerous, so people wearing plate mail are very unusual, but, you know, with monsters everywhere, they're not going to question you too much. Now we do our first disguise as monsters to slip through there without trouble. Now we pay 250 gold pieces for a wagon. And that allows us to sneak into the castle through the gates. They take us through. We enter Vallejo Castle. And then our 3rd disguise in a row. We come in here, get some, treat the laundry ladies nice. They disguise us as monsters so that we can avoid combat as we enter Tyranthraxus' place. And now in the actual keep, we give the password of Rhodia, and they let us in. Now let's see if I can do this without a map for the first time. No. Am I already lost? I am. I went through... I almost made it all the way without looking at my map. No, I was going the right way. I got a little confused, but this is actually the right way. Voila. Okay. So much for that. Through the door here, up these stairs. Don't go down these stairs. Secret doors to our left. We go up those stairs instead. Come around here, and now, final battle. Red will use a potion of speed, use a potion of giant strength, and use Dust of Disappearance. Blue will use a potion of speed, and Violet will cast Bless and Prayer. And here we go. We come into Tyranthraxus' lair. First he sends his 12 guards at us. 12 8th level fighters. We have 3 5th level fighters. Totally fair, right? Oh my word, 3 coughs right from the get-go. Now some more hold persons. Short bow. That's why clerics are useful. Yes, actually, I want to go back and claim our treasure. I almost forgot. So, +2 two-handed swords and +2 plate mail are the best things to deal with a dragon named Tyranthraxus. He's a bronze dragon, which normally would be good, but because Tyranthraxus is actually a demonic spirit that possesses the bodies of others to do his bidding in the mortal realm. So he likes to inhabit the bodies of lightning-throwing, good-aligned creatures. Now, if Tyranthraxus gives us a chance to join him, of course we don't. Instead, we decide to beat him up. He tries to breathe on us, but because of the Dust of Disappearance, he can't see us to breathe on us, and so we defeat him. Dust of Disappearance is the one thing you really need in this game to beat it. You also get it in Curse of the Azure Bonds. We'll be using that early and often once we get into there. And we'll be using it multiple times. It's normally a one-shot item, but there are glitches that allow you to use it multiple times. Not useful in this game because you get it so late. All you really need to do is go kill Tyranthraxus by the time you can get your hands on it. We want to actually... Let's see, 900? Okay, we do have plenty still. Yep. We want to train before and after we turn in killing Tyranthraxus. Because of the amount of experience we got from those fights, especially the... Well, I can't train them, interestingly. Okay, I guess it does matter that much. $45,000 experience, which is going to be enough to level us all to our absolute limit, at least this far. Fireball spells are just too useful. Okay. So now I save my game as B. Actually, no. What I need to do is go back into here again and remove my characters from the party. Now my characters are in the pool, it's time to swap over to Curse of the Azure Bonds. First, I have to do the things necessary to transfer my characters. Okay, blue. Green, gold, red, violet, and white. I now pluck them up and take them to Curse of the Azure Bonds. Paste them here. Overwrite all the files and destination. And now load up Curse of the Azure Bonds. And Curse of the Azure Bonds is slightly different screen size for some reason, so I have to play with that. And here we go. Thanks, Kawaii. Have yourself a good one. Okay, add from pool. Red, blue, green, violet, gold, and white. Green is hurt. Gold. How does gold have items? Gold should have been replaced too. Okay. I don't know how, but gold has items. Items from the actual game too. This is a character I had before. I'm not sure how that happened. Oh, I know why. Because I was using a gold before. These are cleric's items. I have a staff, sling, gauntlets. Okay, well, I'm just going to drop them to keep the game proper. That's an interesting little glitch, but not intended, so we're rolling with it. Violet is a cleric, white is a fighter magic user, green, blue, and red are fighters. Okay. Problem with using the same names over and over again. So, let's begin our new game. So now we've conquered Flan, and then in our travels over the next year, we suddenly find ourselves getting attacked by strange, invisible people. They knocked us unconscious. We wake up with all of our equipment gone, again. Or I guess this is the first time. We had no equipment before because we were nobodies. We also have no... So we have no equipment. And we have no clue what's going on. What we do have is 5 loose sigils on our arm that are kind of like tattoos, except that they also seem to move and everything. So we're trying to figure out what's going on with this if we can. We are in an inn, and they have everything they need for us. We're going to get in a tavern fight. This is going to get us enough experience to level up. Oh, we forgot to get equipment, though. That's kind of bad. Okay, let's go ahead and make these guys easy to beat. And in fact, this is kind of bad too, but we'll just go into the inn and rest after this. Now red is actually red too, thank goodness. Survivors are tossed outside. There's a commotion. You can learn some stuff from that, but we're not going to. These guys are open all night, thankfully. Okay, we get to buy ourselves long swords, plate mail, and shield. And you actually get a ranged weapon this time. A staff sling. She'll use the staff sling most of the time. Okay, how much money do I have? Enough to level everybody once. Excellent. Going to go into the inn. Not that room, I guess this room. So we can memorize our spells that we used and fix ourselves up. Luckily, you're not really on a time limit in the town. Everything won't progress until you do whatever you want to do. So, the Sage Filani, but first I want to go to the Hall of Training and train my characters. I can be as level 7 fighters because of the experience I had from last time. I think I have enough to be a level 6 mage as well, but I don't have any money. So, let's trade to gold. All 78. Oh, good, that works here. All 78. Nope, not quite enough to level up. Okay, well, that's fine then. So now we visit the Sage Filani, and she will tell us about our sigils for half our money. Luckily, we have almost no money left, so it doesn't matter. Now we have to try and leave the city, but they won't let us because the king is coming. And when the king arrives, once we hear his voice, the sigils make us go nuts and attack him. Turns out not to be the king, but in fact a... Oh, I did not get a chance to memorize my other spells, huh? Oh well, I will memorize them next. Turns out not to be the king, but an imposter who is good at changing his voice, who was used for this security purpose to draw out the assassins. So they think we're the assassins since we attacked and we have to fight off these guards. But, you know, somebody is making us do that because of these Azure Bonds that we've got. We surrender, get thrown in jail, thieves break us out and take us down to their lair. They give us a chance to rest, which we definitely want to do, because we want to memorize spells. Okay, 4 hold persons and a silence. 2 dispel magics and a prayer. That's kind of a break in case of emergency spell. Okay, now we want to go east, and suddenly a bunch of fire knives come in and attack us. So the Thieves Guild is at war with the fire knives, who are a group of assassins that are trying to infiltrate the kingdom and such. Real problem dudes. And so they're fighting with the Thieves Guild. They've turned it into a big guild war for control, and the fire knives are trying to use us to do their dirty work and destroy and overthrow the kingdom. So the Thieves Guild that are opposing them, of course, want to try and help us out as whoever we can, because they do not want to deal with the fire knives and us. Yeah, we'll just fight. Do this fight auto the rest of the way. So we have a bunch of thief allies here. Luckily, on auto combat, they're able to tell who the enemy are. I am not, so if I use spells, I have a good chance of hitting my fellow thieves with them. Luckily, however, spells do not count as friendly fire, so if I were to attack any of the thieves, it would cause all NPCs to turn on me because I'm an evil scumbag who attacks people. I would never do that. But spells do not cause that, so if you want to wipe out your allies without them noticing or paying attention, you use spells. And it looks like I've been taking a lot of damage for some reason. Or maybe that was the thief. Yeah, we still have 40 hit points on most of our guys. Okay, good. Fight's over. Okay. We don't care about the harp that disappeared down the corridor. However, we do care a little bit about these guard dogs that we have to fight, along with the fire knife. Fireball is one of the best spells in the game since it clears out so many so fast. Okay, let's see. Very wide area effect, of course. Assassins, leap upon me. Oh, with a couple of mages with them? No, definitely not. Let's try this again. Also, I need to get my map ready so I can be looking at that. Let's see, back to this. Map. U. Okay, I mostly know the way, but I still need maps for Curse of the Azure Bonds. As I get better with these maps, this speedrun's going to get a lot faster. Okay, come on. We found the treasure room. Yay! Okay, so there's some good things here, including a... nope, just the dust. The dust is very important, as are the potions. That does not matter. Scrolls don't really matter. Longsword is magic for red. And more potions. Okay, so he gets everything pretty much. Just a +1 longsword, but it'll be good for now. Also, we can encamp. We can memorize our fireballs again. And our whole person that we cast. Assassins leap upon me. Not gonna happen. Goodness. If I'm lucky, I can get through the Thieves Guild with absolutely no encounters. And then I'm not lucky and I get through nothing. And get bites all the time. I think I had one encounter in my previous playthrough of this. When I get lots of encounters, I have to save it more often as well, just because of... Okay, entering sewers. Luckily, this area of the sewers is pretty much free of encounters. Going this way avoids all the really bad stuff. Oh yeah, we don't want a checkpoint. I need to go through here. Okay, we talked to these Otyugs, we bargain with them, and they will let us pass. Otyugs are nasty creatures that eat offal and other terrible things. They're jealous of another group of Otyugs' lairs that they have, and they want us to kill those Otyugs so they can take it for themselves, and they'll give us a bunch of treasure. We really don't care that much about the treasure, though, so we agree to it and then leave, because that's the kind of things you do in speedruns. Okay. Okay, want to come here. Actually, I don't need to go there. I can come here. Okay, let's... I don't have a lot of money left, but... view, trade, gold. 71 platinum. Okay, can gold train yet? No, still cannot train to be a... Probably need 50,000 to be a level 6 mage, or 40 or 45,000 in any case. Okay, so that's doesn't matter. But this is a safe area we can rest in as well. Not that we need to. But I can save it. Okay, now I enter the guild hideout. Again, going through these secret areas lets me avoid most encounters. I can start getting encounters right here. Spotted by Fire Knife Patrol? I think not. A checkpoint is to the west, but I am going into the armory, getting a large box, taking a necklace, a long sword. That, I think, is the only long sword I want. I can double check that. Yes, indeed. Oh, man. 18 strength. That's very unfortunate. His strength went down because I used a thing on him and used a potion of giant strength and win a party. That's kind of bad to use if that's going to happen to it. Okay, but that's the one I want. I'm going to get more gold than I need for anything else. Okay, a flail for Violet. A magic staff sling was what I lost, but whatever. And then that's all I need. These bracers are bad and I don't need bracers anyway, so. Okay. Now we're going to save the game and quit. Oh, actually, save B, yes. Reload the game. And loading the game in puts you in a party. In Pool of Radiance, it just loads you straight to where you were. But in Curse of the Azure Bonds, it actually puts you in a party management state, which allows me to remove from the party White, who doesn't need anything, and then add a character, Bags. My good old friend Bags here is going to be of great use to me. I'm going to trade him this dust, this long sword, and this necklace that I picked up. He's going to hold on to these things for me. And then I'm going to remove him from the party. And then I'm going to drop my party. Then I'm going to load my game back up, which I should have done it before, because now I have to remove White from the party again. Add Bags. Hello, Bags. Oh, you have some stuff for me. Let's trade this dust to blue, this longsword to blue, this necklace to green. And then remove you from the party. Save the game as C. Add you back into the party. And now look, you see I have this long sword I want to trade you. And this dust I want to trade you. And you know what? Blue also has longsword and dust that he wants to trade you. And green has a necklace he wants to trade you. And Violet has a necklace she wants to trade you. So hold on to those for us, will you? And now we drop the party again. Load up C. Add Bags back into the party. Thanks for holding on to that stuff for us. Green could use a sword, and gold could use a sword. And Violet could use a couple more necklaces and a couple more dusts, just because. Okay. Save the game as C. Add Bags back to the party. You know what, Bags? Hold on to this stuff for us again. We have some more stuff we need you to hold on to. One more longsword, some more dust. A necklace. And a bunch of dusts and necklaces. A whole bunch of it. I'll load up C again. Add Bags back to the party. Check out his stuff. A long sword. Send it to gold for now. Trade a bunch of these necklaces to green and dust to green. And other stuff to red. Okay, move you from the party. Save a C. Add Bags. Okay, think this will be the last time. And gold doesn't have anything, right? Except for his other sword. Yep. Okay, and he's full of those. Good. So remove him. Drop, 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 drop. Load C. Add Bags. Items. Trade necklaces and dust. Trade necklaces and dust. Trade necklaces and dust. Now I have a whole lot of dust, some necklaces, a bunch of fun stuff. A little bit too much dust on you. I'll trade it to somebody else, though. Okay. Thanks for holding on to all of that for us, Bags. Let's get White back in here. Let's trade some of this stuff to White. Three necklaces, 3 dust, okay. 3 necklaces, okay. Save the game as B, begin adventuring. Checkpoint here. Now we're going to use some of this dust. And we're going to go ahead and cast our Bless spell and our Prayer spell. Just to make this go a bit easier. Now we step forward. The Fire Knives demand we surrender. We surrender. They take us to our leader. And Princess Nicasia of the King's Daughter has been captured. But she suddenly breaks her bonds in the middle of this interrogation by the Fire Knives. Clunks the leader on the head, which allows us to escape the power of the bonds. And we then fight all of the Fire Knives. Thanks to all these necklaces of missiles we have. Necklace of Missiles does not allow you to cast Magic Missile, but rather you throw spheres, you pluck spheres from it and throw them and they turn into fireballs, is basically how it works. So it basically allows anybody to cast Fireball. They're randomly powerful. Not only do you roll for damage, but each sphere is a different level of power, so you don't know quite what you're going to get with all these, but they tend to be really powerful. And easily take care of groups of enemies like this. Now, unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on your point of view, I won't be able to continue doing this for the rest of the game, because a lot of enemies are going to be immune to fireballs or very resistant to them, which makes them not worth using. But there's going to be a large portion of the game that's going to be this kind of Elegiggle easy, so I just have to be careful with them because my characters will use them if they're on quick combat, and they will not use them correctly. They will oftentimes hit the party with them. So actually, take quick. And so Nicasia threatens the Fire Knives leader, and he does a enchantment that lets us loose of our bonds, but the king kicks us out of town because we tried to kill him, and he doesn't trust us since we still have these sigils on it, even if we help do everything. So now we have to camp, save, we actually don't do anything. Journey to the next city of Ashabenford, doesn't matter, trail or wilderness. We get attacked by hippogriffs here, it's a very annoying fight. Easiest thing to do is to let them all show up and then fireball them. Fireballs are not as effective in the outdoors. They have a smaller AoE. Oh yeah, I beat the Fire Knives too, so I need to split that. This is one of the few fights in the game where I won't have, oh, I should have done one up and I've gotten that hippogriff too. Okay, about time to auto-take them down. No necklaces equipped, good. Oh, I need to trade a weapon to white. I almost forgot. He's still using a bow. Okay, now we enter Ashabin Ford. We're going to visit the store first, so I can get rid of some of this stuff. Let's see. Did I take anything worth selling? I don't think I really did, because I don't need it. Okay. I can level up 3 levels already, so I'm great on money. So let's go to the hall. Can't train them yet. I can finally get level 6 magic user. So let's go ahead and get a haste spell, because that is awesome. And a lightning bolt, because that's a good option as well. Now we can go to the inn. You don't have to ever pay for inns in this game. They just basically disabled them because of all the money that was spent on you for inns or something. Memorize the lightning bolt. Memorize a haste. Okay, now we need to go find the next person with a command of our sigils. We travel through the wilderness of standing stones to avoid encounters. We meet this mysterious man who tells us the secret to the south. It's actually Tyranthraxus, but we can't do anything about him. Okay, we journey to Assembra via trail. And then we're going to fight some dragons here, so we need to save the game because they're dangerous. Journey to Hap. It doesn't matter whether you go trail or wilderness, you get attacked by these dragons. Okay. Oh, where are they? Here they are. Dragons are kind of dangerous. They have a lot less hit points than they do in later editions of D&D, in first edition, but they do, their breath attack does damage equal to their hit points, so even though these only have 48 hit points, they can do 48 points of damage with a single attack with their breath weapon to an AoE group of characters, which is really nasty, so we want to try and dispatch them as quickly as possible if we possibly can. Unfortunately, we're getting really weak fireballs from our necklaces and missiles. Oh, geez, 5 each? Yeah. Talk about weak. $35, 17. Holy cow, finally. Let's see. Okay. Hahaha. We'll dispatch them with swords the rest of the way. Okay. Alright, we're going to camp and fix up before we go. Save the game. Enter the city of Hap, which is being controlled by Dark Elves. Advance, Parley, Meek. If you fight the Dark Elf patrols, it'll reduce the number in the boss room, but we really don't care. By being meek to them, they will leave us alone, and we'll fight them all at once, which is faster for the speedrun and really easy when you have Dust of Disappearance. We don't want necklaces on, though, because these guys are pretty much immune to magic. They have a very, very high resistance, like 50% or more, and so you just waste time by attempting to blast them down. We all have +3 longswords, except for the cleric who has a +2 mace or flail, so we can dispatch them pretty easily. Oh, also we can cast Haste and Bless and Prayer to make this go even faster. So the Ifrit and his cohorts are ruling the city on behalf of Dracandros, who is the next guy who has control of us. He wants to be a great mage, and he also wants to use the dragons, and so he's going to try and convince the dragons that we are human agents set to destroy them so we can set a dragon on human war. But it's not going to go very well. Dust of Disappearance is really valuable here because even though the Drow are immune to all of our spells, we are not immune to theirs, so it's very inconvenient. Okay, so the people are very happy. They will now welcome us. There's an NPC we can pick up here, but we're not going to because he's just a wizard, and we just talked about how useless magic is in this area, so it's just better to avoid him. Also, if you recruit him before you take on the boss, he will attack. He will force the party to attack any patrols that you meet. So, okay, now we're going to go to caves. We get attacked by some people here. Salamanders. So this fight is easiest just to go this way. If I had Ice Storm, I could use it on Salamanders, but they're immune to fire, of course, and I could shoot them with magic missiles at least, but it's easier just to chop them all down. I can avoid most of the fighting in this area just by fleeing. It's kind of interesting how there are different encounter rules in every section of the game, in both Pool of Radiance and Curse of the Azure Bonds. This is a pretty friendly area. Now, coming up is the whole reason why I took a female party member. Wow, that's pretty extreme. Where is my potions of extra healing? Also, we can just serious wounds cure as well. 7 points. Awesome. 15. That was better. And now go ahead and drink. Sometimes you need a free hand to drink a potion. Sometimes you don't. It's kind of silly. Okay. 48 points. Better. Okay, now this Dark Elf Silk will give us a opportunity to work for her. And this, some of the people who spot Silk's mark will leave us alone, which is convenient. It will also help us avoid a major fight much later on in the game. So that's the main reason I picked this up. These patrols are small and I can flee anyway, so I don't really need it for these encounters, but it's one particular event later in the game that's major that we take the Silk mark. And it's the whole reason I want a female character, because Silk will only give her mark to a female. If you have a party full of men because they're stronger, well, this is where it comes back to bite you. It's almost faster to avoid normal people than the ones there. Okay, now it's time for us to use Dust again. Not going to cast my haste spell yet, though. But I am going to save it just in case. So Dust of Disappearance in this section is basically just a great equalizer, because now they can't cast spells on me just like I can't cast spells on them. So it all comes down to melee. Of course, it also gives me a significant advantage in melee, but, you know, whatever. This is a speedrun. So one of the things I like about this combo speedrun is that Pool of Radiance is a pretty much glitchless game entirely. But this run, I use these multipliers to get so many necklaces and missiles and Dust of Disappearance to blow through the run relatively quickly. Okay, gonna cast Haste for this fight because it's nasty, Bless and Prayer because it's nasty. Now I could choose to avoid the fight, but the thing about it is that I'll have to fight him in the woods later and I won't have the advantage of my invisibility. So it's very much worth it to go ahead and attack him. So fight him there while you have the advantage of being able to cast spells. So now Dracandro stops us, takes us to his roof, and introduces us to the dragons, forces us to attack one, but it's just an illusion. And so the dragons are like, though, okay, you're controlling them. Free them and see if they attack us. And so we attack the wizard, and they're like, okay, fine. Obviously, you don't care about us, so we're leaving. And then now we have to deal with that. And it's, once again, just easier to chop them down. We still have our Dust of Disappearance active, because it lasts a long time. Okay, exit, no. We can rest safely on the roof, thank goodness, so we can heal up after all the damage we've taken. Memorize our few spells that we're using, which are mostly just buff spells. And this is the reason why I realized that, hey, maybe I don't need a regular mage when I'm carrying over, especially because I'll have 6th level mages by the time I get here. Okay, now time to see if the same thing happened. Okay, it didn't. This actually kept. So that's a interesting thing. I want to be fully prepared for that fight. The previous 2 times that I have run this game, the 2 games back-to-back, I should say, for some reason, the manipulation of stuff that I did seemed to disable several of the sets that were in the game. Several of the flags, basically, that mark encounters, including that one, which is the toughest fight in the whole game. Because he's, like the other Dark Elves, pretty much immune to magic. And he also is very, very powerful. He's got over 100 hit points and -7 armor class. He is just totally bad news. So it wasn't... He also has the best armor in the game that I can loot afterwards, so it's great to have that, but it's not as... avoiding the fight was better, especially because it is a lot faster, but... Having it not disabled is good, because the very first time that I played this... with this, disabling, it actually disabled one of the, required fights to win the game. Oh my word. Okay, just unconscious. Wow, he took gold out that quickly. Sheesh. And did I remember to use Dust of Disappearance? I don't think I did. I'm going to reload. No wonder he's cleaving me to pieces. My armor class is not great. And he has a +5 longsword, too. That's the other thing. It's only a drow longsword, so I can't, unfortunately, take it beyond here. But his armor is not drow, so I can keep that. That's going to make this split go a lot slower since it didn't get disabled. Bit inconvenient, but oh well. I was actually hoping that it would be consistent enough that I could rely on it, but unfortunately seems not to be the case. And immediately he's missing a lot more. Now if I get super lucky, I'll hit him with the hold person. He has like a 75% chance to resist outright, and then can still make a saving throw. So odds are kind of low. But if I get it, that's... whoops. Okay. That's 100 hit points just gone. Looks like I'm not going to need it, so we'll just chop him up. He's only got a few left. All done. Okay, good. Whew! But look at gold at 10 hit points. Yikes. Okay, go ahead and take the +5 longsword. You need it because you have horrible strength. I'm going to give blue the plate mail, magic plate mail, and shield, though. Now, normally I might multiply that stuff, but it's really not necessary, I found, so I'm not going to risk any more multiplication. But now I can go back up to the roof and rest again, thank goodness. Memorize my haste spell, most important spell in the game at this point. My bless, my 2 hold persons that didn't do any good, and my prayer. Okay. Magic cast, make sure they're all memorized. Yes. Okay, now... Yep. The fights will be easier to go through if I use my dust, but I don't want to use it until I get a set encounter later on down here. So I'm going to be still wanting to avoid fights. Sometimes the encounters here can be very, very bad. No, we do not want to enter that room. The Sphere of Annihilation is a duel with a mage. And if you win the duel, you concentrate on it with your magical energies, and it's kind of a weird thing where it rolls against your magic ability, but if it doesn't, you don't have magic ability, you have a less chance to control it, but if neither person succeeds in controlling it, it moves closer to the stronger mage. So there's a bit of a thing there. There's a huge amount of money in the room that you can loot, more than you can carry, so if you really want loot, that's the place to go, but I really don't need it for anything. Okay, down these stairs. Another Dark Elf Lord is there, and he threatens us to give him all our money or we're going to be in trouble. We say no, and he turns out he's just an illusion, so... Haha. Well saved. Okay. I'm going to be fighting the battles almost from this point on because I'm about to use another Dust of Disappearance. And then at that point, they're pretty small groups, so with Dust of Disappearance on, I'm not that afraid of them. So I can kill them easily. Okay, right here. Who has dust now? I may need to get more dust later, I have no idea, but I don't think so. Guarded by Dark Elves and Owlbears. Okay, let's start off by going ahead and using our Necklace of Missiles for all it's worth to play with these Owlbears. One of the funkiest D&D monsters, owlbears. And if I get lucky, it'll also damage the drow, but you can see that it generally isn't. Okay, not worth it at this point. Mostly done with the ones that are of any use whatsoever. Yay, didn't 18 to a fighter. Okay. Okay, this is a trapped thing. If you disable the trap, which I've never figured out how you're supposed to do, you will be able to disarm a trap, another trap later on down the road, but you basically just get hit twice if you try, so we're just going to take the damage and deal with it. Okay. Let's see, I'm going west. Okay, here we are. Oh, that's right. I almost forgot. Oh, darn. Actually faster to quit at this point because I was going the wrong way. Oops. Accidentally hit a thing I wasn't supposed to. There we are. There's my unwind. Okay. Okay, if I need to go through this back room, that will avoid another set encounter. Though I get this encounter. Okay. Not seeing my red maps. Okay. We get an egg, which is one of the things that Silk wants, but we're not going to return it to her actually simply because we don't have the time to go around. I have not yet. I've been dealing with too many other things now. I really need to. But right now I'm trying to prep for a couple of upcoming marathons, like especially RPG Lunar Break. I want to submit this for it, but I'll be looking at those over the next year and maybe submitting them the year after that. Oh no, we're hit by the spikes for 12 damage, which is a pain, but not particularly bad. Into these rooms. Another party of Dark Elves charges us. We very slowly move towards them. It's kind of an interesting dungeon because as soon as you enter, Dracandros teleports you to the top, and then you have to fight your way back down before you meet him again. Oh my word, are you kidding me? Ah, good thing these are fast encounters. Yes, I did fight and beat the Dark Elf Lord. I had to reload because I forgot to use my Dust of Disappearance beforehand. Okay, here is another set encounter. And we are going to use our necklaces of missiles on these wyverns. That was not an impressive one. Oh yes, he's really terrible. He's definitely a guy you have to all-out prepare for. And he's actually the toughest fight in the game, using, since I, use all of this Dust of Disappearance. Since I can't use necklaces of missiles on him, and he still can hit really hard, even without, he can still has a good chance to hit me and can do a lot of damage, even if I'm protected by the Dust of Disappearance. He is really the hardest fight in the entire game, especially relative to the level you fight him, the level that you fight him at relative to your level. Oh my word. Jeez. Okay, where was my last save? Oh yes, he has the best armor in the game. A lucky hit poisoned and killed me out of that, with invisibility and everything. That was so insane. He has the +3 plate mail and +2 shield, which are the best of their respective items in the game. Mogion, the High Priestess of Moander, has the same equipment, but it's one of the 2 places you can get that. He also has a +5 Drow Longsword, which is really great as long as you're in Drakandros' place. Okay, I did save right here at least, so I'm not too far away. But I'm going to have to get back to the Wyvern Room. Oh, goodness. What a horrible time loss. Euphrates are the worst groups too, there are 6 of them. Aha! 3 encounters this time. Okay, saving the game this time. This is another encounter that I didn't have to do in the before because for whatever reason my messing around with the game caused it to break and it was no longer there. Oh, finally, a good one. Haha. Nine and 4. Okay, save first. Now fix. Okay, good enough. Alright, use another dust before the big battle with Tricandros. Cast haste. Cast bless and prayer. Okay, you do not have a necklace. Quick combat. You have a necklace. Quick combat. You don't have a necklace. Quick combat. You have a necklace. Now quick combat. I think everybody else does not have a necklace on. I gotta be certain. Alrighty, all done. Let's see, what do I want from him? I can't remember which ring is the best one. Although technically they both would be good. Quarterstaff and bracers I don't really need though. And we want that ring. We want the wands, not the robes. Not really the magic user scrolls either. Now we want to get out of here. Oh, goodness. Thank goodness. Wilderness. Depart. Our Dark Elf weapons are now useless, but that's okay. Camp. Fix. Magic Memorize. Bless. Detect Magic. And Prayer. And Memorize. All important Haste. Rest. Exit save B. Okay, that's Tricandros. Journey on to Assembra. Trail. Enter the city. Go to the hall. Let's see what we can train up. Level 7 magic user. Learn Ice Storm. Okay, they can only go up one more level, but that's okay. I don't need that much more in the way of powerful magic. Let's go ahead and go to the store. Pull our items. Identify these so I know the difference. Ring of Wizardry is really awesome. I need to go to the end to memorize that. Trade that ring to gold just for the heck of it. That'll give him a 5 armor class. Okay, still 478, so that we have enough to gain 2 more levels on each character, which is probably as far as we'll get. Okay, let's go ahead and memorize our new magics. We get another Dispel Magic because there's nothing else good, and Cure Serious Wounds so we can heal quicker. Get another Stinking Cloud, which I don't really use anymore, an Ice Storm. And you get a whole lot more because of your new ring. So if I want to spam magic missiles for some decent damage, I can. Okay, now we have to journey to Standing Stone, where the old man tells us to seek green to the north. Now, let's see, the fastest way is actually to travel to Hills Far by Wilderness. We don't want to encounter anybody. And then Ulash by Wilderness. We ignore the green-robed group following us. We enter the city of Ulash. We ask permission. We get hit by a horse on the way out. It's kind of a backstory to the thing. Parley with the guards. We go with them. They leave us in here. We save the game, just in case. We move, and suddenly a guy comes out. We let the spies, the Zentrum spies, go, which they don't like. But, nope. I got a bad luck roll. So, if you fight the looters, you automatically will impress the commander. Pretty much. But having the Swan May and acting haughty gives you the best chance of impressing him without having to fight the Zentrim. It's kind of a risk reward because it isn't really a bad fight. I don't think it probably would go pretty quick, but for the most of the time, I don't get that encounter. I don't have to worry about it. Okay, and see, that time we pleased him, just because. It's a charisma roll. You get major minuses for letting the Zentrim spies go. They don't like that, but I'm otherwise, I'm haughty and sure of myself, and I'm lawful good, and I have a Swan May, so otherwise they like me. Once again, I want to avoid all encounters until I use my next Dust of Disappearance. Luckily, you can avoid most of the encounters here without too much trouble. Okay, where? Now I don't know quite where I am. Back through this door again. Darn it. Okay, this is where the next encounter is. So let's go ahead and dust ourselves up. Okay. This is actually a really good place to use magic, because these mages can still cause problems. So I'm actually going to cast Ice Storm. I got hit anyway. I always love that. Ice Storm is a smaller AoE than... good, that took care of the wizard, which was the main thing I was worried about. And this is just a really great place to toss a Lightning Bolt spell, and I don't have much use for it otherwise. Oh, he's the one with Lightning Bolt. Okay, you can quick. Lightning Bolt isn't too useful for most of the rest of this area, so using them there did a lot of damage. It helps me burn these guys down real fast. Okay, now... I can still avoid most of the fights just by fleeing. Although it turns me around too, which I wasn't used to. Okay, now we're going to encounter some Shambling Mounds. They're guarding a body of a cleric, which is pretty nasty. It has some nasty magic items on it. One of them is the very powerful Wand of Defoliation, which absolutely destroys plant-based monsters, which means it's used entirely for this section with Shambling Mounds and Vegapygmies. Shambling Mounds are really, really tough. With 0 armor class, like 60-ish hit points, they get 2 attacks per round at heavy damage and can engulf you, which will eventually cause you to suffocate. They're swamp things that just overflow you. Being invisible helps, though. The worst part is, though, they're almost immune to magic. So once again, like, fireballs are totally ineffective. They take half damage from Ice Storm. Lightning bolts heal them, make them bigger, which is not fun. Gold, you take those two. Wow, somehow we avoided a sinkhole. I'm not sure how. It's normally only dwarves can do that, but somehow we avoided it. Okay, now we entered the Pit of Moander. Now they trap us in here. So the Moander has the sigil on us to try and force us to the bonds, to try and force us to be the people who will let out their god. Moander is a dead god, but somehow by using the bonds and us, they can revive him. They were important in the novel of Azure Bonds. Azar, Elias, and Dragonbait, the people we will be encountering next. Oh, that just gets in the way. Let's see. Yeah. Alright, so now we get these two NPCs. They're not super important, but they'll help us out a little. And so this is the big fight. We're going to go ahead and use one more dust here. And then cast our spells, because this is the big double fight. So now Mogion takes control of us for a bit, but then the ritual just tends to go wrong and it cuts off the revival thing. Moander is killed, we lose our sigil, our bond, and now we get to annihilate them. Let's see. You... 3... I should have given her the Wand of Defoliation. She's actually the weakest there. But you are going to use your necklaces to kill the clerics, who are not a huge threat. With being invisible, but let's see, what have I got? Just these, so really weak one. Oh well, it's enough to take out the cultists. Okay, now it's just Mogion herself left. Now we're going to use the El Wando of Defoliation, because it's going to do huge damage to all three of these shambling mounds. Boom. Oh, crap. He has the Necklace of Missiles still. I need to not have him auto. He doesn't. Unless he used up his last one. Charge on that particular necklace. I have multiple necklaces because they do have limited charges. There's Mogion gone. Now just those two shambling mounds left. This will go pretty quick. Okay, that's that battle. Oh wait, yes, we do want to get the treasure. Green, please take the plate mail and shield there. Violet, go ahead and take the mace. It's +3. Green. There, and red, go ahead and take the cloak. Cloak of Displacement gives a -2 armor class and makes missiles miss a lot. It's pretty... In this game, I think it's just basically a -2 armor class. It's a lot more complicated in actual D&D, especially later editions. But it's a good defensive item. I don't want him in plate mail as much, because with his only 18 strength, he's a little bit weaker. Also, I don't... I need my other two fighters more alive, since they have more hit points. So these three still want to charge forward. Now we have to fight 3 bits of the god Moander, which have over 140 hit points each and are very, very nasty. Now, the defoliation is kind of weirder here, but if I use it in the right areas, I can still hit multiple enemies with it. And again, these powerful god pieces of God are still strong enough to hit us pretty well, even when we're invisible. Luckily, they count as giant shambling mounds, so I can defoliate them for heavy damage. This is considered one of the tougher fights in the game. Gauntlet of Moander and slimy remains. They've killed our god! Oh no. Yep, deal with it. Okay, it's hard to rest in here, so I'm just going to try and make my way out. And yeah, I'm going to go ahead and take encounters against these guys because I can blow them up very quickly with fireballs. In the next area, I'll finally be able to really abuse fireballs for all they're worth. The Necklace of Missiles, I should say. Oh no, Vegapygmies. Vegapygmies die real fast to fireballs. They don't take double damage from the fireballs, unfortunately. But they don't have a whole lot of hit points, and they have no magic resistance, so yeah, they fall fast. Okay, fresh air around here. We're going to encounter more Vegapygmies in this room. So, we're going to use our large amount of necklaces. Burn them all down very quickly. There are fewer than I remember. I wonder if it's because I fought one of the random encounters. Usually I just avoid him, but I figured that actually it's not a bad idea just to fight him if... because the reloads are not that quick. Okay. We can evade the slugs because they're slow. Final battle here. So this is going to be it. Kali Lee! The last few cultists tried to prevent us from leaving and destroy us for killing their gods. Let's see. Yeah, I need to target right there. Shambling Mound is immune, but it'll do damage to most of the cultists and the Vegapygmies. Let's see. He's used up one of his necklaces. Oh dear. But before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and cast Ice Storm because it can hurt the Shambling Mounds as well, even if only a little. Oh god, what a weak Ice Storm. My word. Six damage, I can't believe it. Yeah, you just kill him off. Use Wand of Ice Storm. Another 6-pointer? Sheesh. What's up with this? And that's it for the Cult of Moander. I need to journey back to to Vunlar. Wilderness. No, we don't investigate anything. Enter the city. We need to go to the hall again and see if we can train. Nobody can train. Okay, I didn't even need to come here. For Zentrim Gentry, we'll prepare the best rooms. Fine, whatever. Bless and Prayer are the only spells I used, and Haste and Ice Storm, and 2 Lightning Bolts and an Ice Storm. Okay. Now we journey back to Ulash by Wilderness. We journey to Sentil Keep by Trail or Wilderness, doesn't matter. Save the game. Enter the city. Oh, we entered the city instead. Well, that's fine too. I can avoid encounters by talking carefully to the troops that I see. Usually don't get any encounters, but sometimes we do. Okay, did I go the wrong way? Something seems a little off. Oh. Nope. It is one path, just like I thought. Okay, now the halfling takes us into the temple to rescue our friend Dimswart, and then she disappears after leaving us to go and rescue him. So the Zentrim have a bunch of powerful, lawful good magic items, so that only lawful good people can use them. And so they want to control us so that they can have us be warriors using their weapons. And we'll be added to their army. Since they're all evil, they can't. So obviously that's something we have to deal with. We have something to say to them about this. Got some more dust to use. And the strange hood woman lets us out. And then we meet this beholder who is part of another faction of the Baneite worshippers of the Zentrim. And when they have this argument, he zaps Fazal, the leader of the Zentrim, with a... use... Now we can really start abusing these fireballs, since none of these guys are immune. So, of course, Fazal was the one who was part of the oath to initiate this bonding. So as soon as he dies, our bond goes away, and then the Beholder's like, well, now they're of no use to me. And so all of his Baneite followers and all of the Zentrim are now fighting each other in this room. And so we have a high encounter chance as we try to make our way out. Sometimes I try to save and reload, but once again, you know, it's probably just as well to blow through them with my very powerful necklace of missiles, since it is so reliably awesome at dealing with them. Okay, much less encounters here now. Though it still have a very good chance of getting encounters. Like so. But since I'm invisible... Yeah, and I used to save and reload here all the time, but you get so many encounters, it's probably just as good to be blasting through them. Just like this. After all, I have all these necklaces, I might as well use them. Okay, 3 left. Let's go ahead and grind him down. Whoops, why do I have that? Oh, he has that equipped instead. Okay, I need to cancel his. I need to put a sword back on him. Okay, here's a set battle against a bunch of Minotaurs and Priests. I'm actually getting less encounters now that I'm not bothering to reload. Who'd have thunk? Oh, I entered the Cave of the Beholder a while ago. Meh. Oh well. Okay, now is the big fight of this area, and one of the hardest fights in the game, because I have to deal with the Beholder. Now, theoretically, a Beholder should be able to use anti-magic ray from its main eye to get rid of our Dust of Disappearance. However, not only does he not have that, it just basically his ray makes him immune to magic, but he couldn't even target us anyway just because of the way that it works. There are certain gazes that can target invisible units like the Medusa uses, but that's it. So he is immune to the fireballs because of his anti-magic ray, but they will decimate his horde of troopers and greatly thin their numbers. If they do any damage whatsoever, which that one did not. And but the Beholder's Ray Beams cannot target us at all, so we don't have to worry about Disintegrate, Death, or Stone to Flesh. Otherwise, this is a really horrible fight because he will use multiple of those every round. Wow, I get an attack, and now I get to use my Necklace of Missiles. That's pretty absurd. Really pathetic Necklace of Missiles, but... Okay, now... all the Beholder can do is bite at us. And voila! Not a lot of good armor on these guys, since Beholders don't need anything. We're almost always attacked by forces of Zentil Keep here, for some reason. Like happens every single time. Good fireball there. Bah. Another set encounter here. Lots of set encounters in this area. Random encounter. Almost worth it to ignore, but... Did he cast Global Invulnerability? Nope, good. Probably Fire Shield, which means that my fireballs are going to be great against him. Fire Shield's one of those actually really overpowered spells that, had to be nerfed. It deals back whatever damage you take. It's a direct 1-for-1 damage shield, which is pretty insane damage, considering that you know, still get to act on your turn and deal damage as well. It's actually one of the most dangerous things to me in this game is if mages get their fire shields off, like Tricandros in his fight. Perfect. Oh, one left. Chase him down. There we go. Alrighty. More random encounters. Sheesh. Against big fights like that, maybe it isn't worth it to, it would be worth it to reload if I'm saving often enough, because that was a big group. This is a small group, though. It'll go down pretty quickly. Wand of Fireballs is slightly more reliable damage, as well as being a longer range. I'm not sure if I'm in range to throw a necklace of missiles that far, so switch the Fireball real quick. Voila. Okay, this is another nasty fight. Manticores. And another Dark Elf Lord is the big problem. Who, again, is mostly immune to magic. He's pretty much the same, but we don't get any loot from him this time. Luckily, we are much higher levels, so we do get have a better chance of killing him. We also don't have to deal with him and the enemies because we'll blow through them all before we get to him, but ah, he took some damage from the fireball. Nice. Okay, can't rely on his here, so I'm just gonna quick combat for the rest. Okay, there we go. The Beholder is not real. If you attack it, things can go wrong. And we are out. Now Civil War is broken out, so we want to journey on to Ulash by Wilderness. We want to journey to Hillsfar by Wilderness to avoid encounters. Enter the city of Hillsfar, go to the training hall, train up our characters. Still can't train, huh? Despite all that experience, level 9 at least, level 8 wizard. Doesn't really matter what I learn. Begin adventuring. How much experience do I need to, level up to 9? More than 200,000, apparently. Well. Magic Memorize. Magic Missile. Another Lightning Bolt and Fireball. Ice Storm. Memorize 3 magic missiles, haste and fireball, and ice storm. And Violet can memorize bless, cure light wounds, another whole person, prayer, and cure critical wounds. Yes, finally, 5th level healing spell. Brand new. Okay, leave. Journey on to the Standing Stone, again by Wilderness to avoid fights. Oh, an impressive chasm. What is this? Oh, wait, he lets us go. So that's a mockery, of course, of Monty Python Holy Grail's Bridge, but it's also a in-game code check, copyright protection thing, which has been disabled in the GOG.com version, luckily. So now we can finally journey on to Myth Drannor. Through Wilderness is the only way. And now we enter the city. So we can avoid pretty much all encounters here. There are a few rare encounters that we'll get, but for the most part, like these guys, we can parley with them. If we tell them Tyranthraxus is our master, they'll leave us alone, otherwise they'll attack us. Those insects, though, we can't avoid. And they're poisonous. Geez, where did I save? Those fights, especially if they're far away, are too much of a pain. Depending on the area, it might be okay to fight them, but generally it's not worth it to me. Goodness, encounters. Yep, I did save right here, so... Okay, a spirit is trying to... It's a Rakshasa in disguise, and it's trying to lure us into a trap. We attack it, and he leaves us alone. Hard to type, Tyranthraxus. Very annoying. And unfortunately, unlike the, whatchamacallit in, Okay, we take the woods. Some hellhounds are attacking a man. We come to their rescue. Let's see, what have you got? Ice Storm. Yeah, this isn't a good place for fireballs. I need lightning bolts. I guess really I should be using dust as well. But, oh well. Yeah, everybody has necklaces off because hellhounds are pretty weak, especially for the end dungeon. Oh, and I entered the ruins too. Okay, he tells us where treasure is buried, and it's the one real treasure we want left in this area of Myth Drannor. Now, we can avoid all our fights here by giving all our money to the Rakshasa that we encounter. We don't need money for anything anymore, so it's a small price to pay for avoiding combat. We don't go to the rescue here because that's another trap. There's one that is not a trap. Nameless is a guy... Do not let us find you again, even though they will be... Don't even care. Here's a cache. Now, when I did it last time, this girdle was broken. And it put my strength at 100, which it does again. Okay, so something is messed up in the game with the way I do things. It kind of doesn't matter because I was already at an 18, which is why I thought it was worth the risk. But probably I'm not going to do this going forward if the girdle is going to be broken in the carry-on thing. It's just one of those weird things that breaks when I carry over characters and do the stuff that I do. I don't know why. Unfortunately, 100 strength sounds impressive, but it's no good because the game does not recognize 100 strength, so it treats it as 10. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and use my dust. I have plenty of dust left, so Save the game. And so now Tyranthraxus takes us into his lair. Now he's in the body of a storm giant instead of a bronze dragon. He wants to dispose of the 3 items we collected from the other bosses to defeat him, but Nameless suddenly steps in and prevents that from happening. And then, let's see, he does have Lightning Bolt. Okay, this is a great place in the game for Lightning Bolt. Powerful Lightning Bolt too, nice. Oh, jeez. Okay. Chop the rest of them to pieces. Okay, now I need to go through the top door there. Middle door, yeah. That's what I thought. No encounters. I'm so lucky. Okay, go up. Okay, we finally get some encounters. One guy. Yes. Very dangerous. I'm glad I didn't reload this. Another. Is it another guy again? Yes, a single high priest. Wow. These are the best encounters ever. Okay, after that poor guy is slaughtered. Alright, final battle right here. Let's go ahead and... let's use this and see if it does any better. 1820. Well, it's better than what I had before, at least. Don't need to worry about anything else. Gonna go ahead and use Dust one more time, just for safety. And then cast my spells, Bless, Prayer, and Haste. Save the game just in case, even though final battle's easy, because I'm obsessed with saving. I'm neurotic. So now we have to fight Tyranthraxus and his huge horde of goons. If we go around and attack a bunch of other guys in this place before coming here, there will be less of them, but it's so much easier and faster just to bombard them all while we have the chance. So, voila. My fireballs that I cast are going to be bigger, so I'm going to go ahead and use those. Everybody else is going to use necklaces. Man, I won't get the one in the corner, who cares? 27 points is all it was, which wasn't super great, but it is better than a lot of the necklace and missiles ones. Tyranthraxus' main goal in bonding us was he planned to use us as more bodies for him to inhabit since we were these great powerful champions who defeated him before. It was both delicious revenge and, you know, potentially useful since we were so powerful. But ends up backfiring on him, of course, since we're about to deal him his finishing blow. Good. Oh, we have a few clerics left, but they don't have many hit points left. Okay, that's it. Spirit reaches out, and the Gauntlet Moander destroys the Pool of Radiance, and Tyranthraxus is no more. Our last bond is lifted. We are free at last. The Knights of Myth Draenor come rushing in, having been late to the party, and say, "Oh, you defeated him, and now Myth Draenor is free. We'll take you back to a celebration." And voila, you have won. That text appears, and that's the finish of the game. Alright. 3 hours, 16 minutes now with the combo, despite some pretty bad luck compared to how I did before. Just knowing the routing better and fleshing out a few things, dumping a couple of unnecessary stuff really speeds it up. The amount of jumps that I've had in both games and in the combo game from run to run have really been pretty impressive. So now this is ready to be submitted to a couple of upcoming marathons, including RPG Limit Break. I think this is a good enough run for that. Thanks for watching, everybody, and I'll be trying to do some more here in the next little while. Until next time.